Today we go outbound, we go hardcore. It's actually one of the trainings I am most proud of. Now, I want to tell you little stories before we can get into what this training is about, right? So when I first started an Expert Dojo, I knew two things. I knew, number one, that venture-backable startups were generally less aggressive when it came to outbound sales than companies that never got any venture capital, right? It's kind of natural if you think about it. Money makes us soft. And if we get a lot of money, then why should we spend all of this time doing the hard things with outreach when we can just use money to buy Facebook ads? And the second thing I knew was that I was pretty soft. Like over the years, I had moved away from being the hardcore, outbound, cold calling business development person that I was. I kind of became the softer manager, consultative, creative person. And the more I looked at startup, I realized that actually what I was watching in this early stage venture backable world was really a reflection of myself. And I became obsessed with fixing the three parts of startup for you, all of the founders that are looking to build your company, right? We know that the third one is building a lovable product. We know that the second one is making sure that your communication with your customers is so good that you convert better. And the first one is right here, which is outbound. Now, the hardest parts of outbound are, number one, doing cold calling, which we've covered in a different session, and number two, which is building a mercenary team that allows you to aggressively go and take the market that is yours. Now, the person that we have doing the training, Bryan Ravit, is one of the finest outbound strategists and executors I have ever met. When I first met Bryan, Bryan said to me, "You can drop me in any town, anywhere in the United States, or any English-speaking place in the world, and I'll bring in $5,000 of revenue, maybe 10, by the end of that month." I'm like, wow, you can get invoices or contracts for that? He said, "What are contracts and invoices? I'll bring in $5,000 to $10,000 in cash by the end of the month." I'm like, well, how do you do that? He said, well, all I need as a salesperson is my phone and my eyes and my legs. Everybody's around me who can buy the products that I have. As long as the product I have is sellable, then there's thousands of people that I can interact with every single day. But I have to make the conscious choice to be able to do that. So this training is going to be about how do you create a mercenary team to be able to land in any village, any town, any city, anywhere in the world, and be able to bring in revenue for your company straight away. By the way, for those of you whose plan is to sit and do some digital advertising because you believe that's going to be the solution for your business or the best use of your time, don't bother doing this because your mindset's in the wrong place. You need to be ready for action when you go into this, and you need to personally own it. And so the only way that you can build a militia team, that you can build a mercenary team, is to be the general of the mercenaries in the first place. You gotta be the one who's prepared to do the hard work and walk into environments which scare you. Then you can build teams to dominate in conferences, to put booths and tables out in the middle of high streets where you're asking personal strangers to come in and have an interaction with you. Where you can create boiler room environments where there's multiple people all doing outbound calls, where you can knock on doors, reach out to partnerships, but do it in a highly concentrated way whereby you know you can dominate. That's what this course is about. It is sensational. It will change your mindset. Remember, every one of these is a sprint, and that means don't try and learn it just because it's like 30 minutes for each one of the weeks when you've got homework afterwards. Don't do the full 2 hours in the same first week. You won't do this. Learn it properly. Research it for your industry. Make sure that you dominate it and kill it, okay? You got this? You got this. I know you do. Enjoy everything you hear from Bryan and change the way you outreach.